watched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man? We started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Hello, Peter.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 Marvel film Spider-Man No Way Home. The film is directed by John Watts and it stars, again, Tom Holland, Zendaya, we have Benedict Cumberbatch, Jon Favreau, and a whole array of other people who you will clearly know, and I don't want to say, because I don't want to give away too many spoilers. Now, this film is the third in the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man films. I've enjoyed all the Spider-Man films. I've even enjoyed him when he's been in Civil War and the Avengers films, all that kind of stuff. I think Tom Holland has done a brilliant, brilliant job as portraying Spider-Man. And I think the Marvel films have done a really, really good job of doing the Spider-Man films. But what we get here is it follows directly on from the second film. Now, if you remember the second Spider-Man film, Peter's secret identity is revealed to the world. And this film deals with the aftermath of that at the beginning of this film. Everybody knows him. He's either hero or villain, depending on the person. He's been portrayed, certainly by J. Jonah, as a villain. And his life's been made a living hell, basically. There's no privacy. It's affecting his friends' lives, his identity. So he goes to Doctor Strange to ask for help. He asks for a spell that will effectively make the world forget that he is Spider-Man. The spell goes wrong, and as you've seen from the trailers, this then draws in other villains from the multiverse into this universe, and Peter Parker has to then deal with the aftermath of this spell going wrong. Right, what are my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home? Well, this is a fantastic film. I mean, I didn't really have any doubt, but I think it's fair to say that Marvel this year has probably, up to this point, had its weakest year. Black Widow was okay, but it was 10 years too late. Shang-Chi, again, was okay, but it was messy. And the Eternals was, again, okay, but had a lot of problems. So, three what you could describe as misfires for Marvel. Certainly with the track record of Marvel. Yes, they've had films over the years that have misfired with audiences or just not been as critically acclaimed. They've obviously had those, but not three in a row. That's very unusual for Marvel. So they needed this to work, and it really does work. And I think the reason why this works is consistency. You've got the same people on this film as the previous Spider-Man films. It's a beloved franchise, Spider-Man. It's a beloved superhero. They've treated it with a great deal of respect in this film and in the other films. And the consistency and familiarity here has really, really strengthens this film. Tom Holland is incredibly comfortable in this role now. He has been for a while, to be fair, but I think it's fair to say in this film the boy becomes a man. He's got a great arc. His arc has been consistent through all the Marvel films, but I think it comes to a head here, and he really does mature into this film, into a man. And I thought they handled that brilliantly. And I thought the whole arc of the film, actually, it's just so pleasing. It reminded me in a lot of ways of Ghostbusters Afterlife, in a sense of Ghostbusters Afterlife, to its strengths and some people's thoughts, weakness, it was very pleasing to fans, and there was a lot of fan service here in that film. And this film had promised a lot in regards to that. And there was so many heavy expectations. For example, my son in particular, who is actually went to see this yesterday, and he was so excited, and he was desperate for the rumours that we've all heard about to actually happen. We didn't know any of the spoilers and things like that. And obviously we knew from the trailers that we were going to get appearances from the villains and things like that from the previous Spider-Man films, but we all know of the other rumours and things like that. And this film absolutely delivered. There was no disappointments from my perspective, none really at all. I thought it just was fabulously entertaining. If you were going to throw any weaknesses here at this film, I think the Zendaya character, the MJ character, the struggle to find her anything particularly substantial to do, but I'm really nitpicking there. It becomes a bit of a, it's all CGI at the end sort of thing, but there had been some rumours that the CGI wasn't exactly going to be, you know, it'd been rushed sort of thing, but it didn't seem like that to me. The CGI looked absolutely on point to me. But my worry was with this film, as it was in Spider-Man 3, that there was too many villains in that film, Spider-Man 3, and it ruined that film. I mean, it wasn't the only thing that ruined it. We all know there's some other problems with that film. And my worry was there was going to be too much in this film, but they balanced it beautifully. I mean, they really did a fantastic balancing act here. Everybody that needed their moment got their moment. They all had great arcs as well of the villains, and it's not what you expect. I didn't expect the direction that they were going to take with this film. It's almost, he does kind of really have an issue with Doctor Strange, and they kind of have a loggerhead. They have a kind of a falling out in a sense. Because of his moral compass, really, Peter Parker. He doesn't want certain things to happen with these villains. So it kind of flips. What you expect is going to happen initially doesn't happen. And I thought that was really smart and clever. And it portrayed these villains as people, as as flawed people that in some sense needed help. And I really, really liked how they did that. They grounded it. And then again later on in the film flipped it on its head and gave the film a real emotional punch later in the film that the film really needed to push it on to the final act, and it was entertaining, it was exciting, it was funny at times. I thought it was a perfect balancing act, and I genuinely could give you very, very few faults here, and I'm more than anything I'm just relieved that Marvel are back on track, because I was worried after the films that we'd had this year. This was a film they couldn't afford to get wrong, and I think it showed the confidence of the studio that they released it at this period at Christmas, where they know, families and fans of the Marvel films are just going to go and flood the cinemas. And if this film hadn't have delivered, I think Marvel would have been really in a lot of trouble. Thankfully, it did deliver. It was fantastic, thoroughly entertaining. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. One of my favourite Marvel films from the last few years, easily. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you like this review. Go and see Spider-Man. You will love it, especially after the disappointment of some of the Marvel films that we've had this year. I don't think you'll be disappointed with this one. I certainly wasn't. So thanks for watching. I'll be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.